liquor store I like is gone. So many things are gone. And for me, I live at the corner of Fortunate and Guilty. There's not a thing wrong with my house. I have 2 limbs down. There's not a thing wrong with my office. It's 12 blocks from where the devastation begins. So it means that I have to work all the harder to make things happen in Joplin because we all have so very much work to do. What I want to do for you in just a few minutes today is to put a face to 2 stories. The first one, this is my friend Kenton Foster, standing on what's left of his house. On Sunday night when the tornado hit, I went to the basement. I put the dogs on the leash. I put the cat in the carrier. I put a flashlight in my pocket, put on my raincoat, and went downstairs. And when I came up, I had a limb down. And it looked like nothing had happened, but cable was out, radio was out. There were a lot of things out. So not until and I drove to the office and looked, it looked fine. So I thought, gosh, really nothing has happened. And then we started to get a few phone calls. Did you know the high school got hit? Did you know this? And so Monday morning I went to help a friend, and she was on the fringe of the tornado. And she had windows out, part of the roof off, a lot of trees down. So we boarded up windows and picked up glass, and then I called church and we decided to go to another house. And it was east of town it was east of where we were, maybe 2 or 3 miles. I was never so shocked in all my life because I could barely figure out where I was. We got to this neighborhood and we couldn't even figure out what street we were on. There was nothing left that was familiar. Kent and Julia they went down, they didn't have a basement, they only have a crawl space. Only 13% of houses in Joplin have a basement. So they went to the crawl space, and as the tornado ripped everything off overhead of them, they got buried in the rubble underneath that. And then because the foundation got pulled off, the natural gas line broke and they started to smell natural gas. And they were trapped underneath. They could see through a tiny hole the decimated high school, which you saw on a fire in the background. Cell phone service, for those of you who've been in a disaster, is practically non-existent. But they were able to get through on a cell phone, call a friend and tell them they were trapped, and someone came with an axe and dug them out. And that's how they escaped. And there are a million stories like that. This is, in terms of deaths, 153 so far. The man in the black shirt is my friend Trip Miller. Trip's been at my church since he was born, and he was 49 years old. He's in a class for disabled adults, and those are his 2 friends, Mark and Rick. They lived in a home. They had their independence. They finally had the independence of the 3 of them living together. And they had a caretaker that stayed with them. Their house was a block from the high school. So all 3 of them died that night. One died on the scene, the other 2 died at the hospital. That's his mom, Patty, behind him, and their house was destroyed. At Trip's funeral, which was jam-packed and probably the first of the many services we've had in Joplin, you can't go anywhere and not see a funeral procession or go past a mortuary and not have a crowd outside right now. Trip loved the Missouri Tigers, as you can see from his sweatshirt. And Mindy said if he were there, he'd be delighted at the number of people who came, and that his prayer would be, God, bless these people, make them better, and let Missouri Tigers win. So, Trip was a great spirit, and he's one of just 153 that we lost. So we have a lot of work to do, and I want to tell you that we're not waiting on all of you to get it done. Everyone in Joplin is working as hard as we can. But we have one really dire situation, and that is school starts for us in 62 days. Out of 7,900 students, almost half of them will be attending a different school. The 11th and 12th grade, our high school that was destroyed, they'll be at Shopco at the mall. They're calling it the Shopco campus at the mall. It's a big box store that was deserted. You can imagine the infrastructure needs to turn a giant empty space into a place that high school students can meet. Our technical center, which lost over 300 PCs in that school alone, is meeting in a warehouse down the street from my office. The 6th through 8th grades at East Middle School are meeting in the industrial park. elementary schools are combined. We're doing everything we can to make school the right place for kids to be, because as you can imagine, students have lost their homes, they've lost their possessions. For many of them, they've lost their schools. So they don't really have very much that's normal right now in their lives. So our goal is to make school normal. Our goal is to make school school for 7,900 students when it begins again. So what is it that you can do to help us? Here's one of the pieces. We need school supplies for 250 teachers. I bet every one of you knows a teacher. And you know that teachers spend their own money to make their classrooms better places. None of that's covered by insurance. So they're estimating we have 250 teachers who need about $1,200 a piece for supplies. For about 4,000 students who are looking among the truckloads and truckloads of used clothing that's hit Joplin for school supplies, and clothes to wear to school, they need school supplies. They need tape and scissors and construction paper and notebooks. That's another really tangible thing that you can do. The place to go is to Just the Bright Futures, Joplin.org. There's a place that you can donate there. I'm happy to work with any of you on any donation because we all have to work hard to make it happen. Matt referenced one of our competitors not as lucky as we were. John's office was down near the hospital and it was completely flattened. Our guys went to help him dig out on Tuesday. They found 3 coffee mugs. They found a box of chocolate candy that he had had as a promotion. They found a toilet seat. They found some servers, but everything just wiped away. So we've been able to help there, and through Heartland Technology's kind of sister organization, HTG, a lot of people came to help him get a good start on things. And we're thankful to what HP has done for us already in terms of being able to give equipment. I can tell you that 4 of the laptops that they've sent are going to the Salvation Army Oasis of Hope, which is in the middle of all the devastation, so that we, along with the internet provider in Joplin, can give volunteers a place to catch mail during the day or see something that they need to see on the computer. So we have a lot of work. Anything that you can do, I'm grateful for. I'm thankful to Everything Channel for having me here today. If you want to volunteer, come on down. We have a lot of work to do, and we'd be happy to have you. So, Bob, I'll say thanks and let you get on with your day, but I appreciate everything.